The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
It's coming.
All these voices. All these voices.
They're mine. They're not yours. You had no right to them when you were alive, and you have no right to them when you're dead. That's what it sounded like. Good, you know who I am. And you know I'm not playing. You're going to let those women go. In Jesus' name, you're going to let those women go.
Is there a demon here watching us right now? Watching us right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Staring into the Abyss. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr., and with me, as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash. How you doing, brother?
Good evening, misfits, sugar ladies, monster lovers, demon hunters. How you doing, motherfuckers?
This week's episode is Old Boy's choice again, so this ought to be a doozy. It's always interesting to see what he comes up with and what he wants to talk about. So I guess without further ado, Old Boy, go ahead, brother.
So, this show's going to be, I don't know if you've lately seen, but all these weird creatures and sightings constantly happening on TikTok, where even some of the stuff is becoming ridiculous and most of it's bullshit. Like, there's a lake, it's in some other country, it's all salt, so it looks pink. So they were saying the world's coming to an end, it's biblical. Come to find out, that's all they did is they took a picture or a video of that lake and said it was the Nile River, and it wasn't. That's already been proven fact was wrong. It was that lake that if you swim in it, it's got so much salt that it could eat through your stomach. If you swallow too much of it, it could kill you. It's just like, it's bad. It's a very dangerous. It's like one of the most toxic. It's like beautiful. It's like pink, but because there's so much salt in it, minerals, it could kill you. There's people taking stuff from movies. Like I've seen the whole Van Helsing, where the new one with Hugh Jackman, where the lady's a vampire. She takes the late woman and goes up the wall. They're saying that's a vampire. That's not. It's another movie. They're taking pictures from movies and saying like the Nephilim, the one where the Chinese Nephilim walking, that's from another movie. People are taking things from movies and trying to say they're real just to get on the likes and all this crap. And it's really getting fucking ridiculous because people are doing it constantly. Now everybody's a paranormal, a conspiracy theorist expert. They know this, UFO this, everything. Some of it's true, but a lot of it is bullshit. Everything every time you see a shark, it's a megalodon now, or a sea monster. There's like one where it has like these people. You could tell they photoshopped the two Nessies in there. It's in the ocean. I was like, come on, guys, it's ridiculous. But there is some stuff that it's proven, it's real, and I'm going to talk about why are we seeing so many different creatures. I mean, some people are doing it to get on TV. Let's throw that out of the way. And get TikTok views, because that's what everybody wants to do. They want to get famous. Social media famous. But, guys, it's getting ridiculous. I'm not saying that everyone, but there's a lot of people who, if they do something stupid, they get millions of views. And people still buy into this. It says, come on, guys. Don't believe everything you hear on TikTok. There's people who actually believe shit. It's already been proven wrong. They don't research, they hear something. It's the same thing everybody's still been doing for the beginning of time. Research before you run your mouth. If you have a belief, I don't care what you believe in, research before you run your mouth. I don't care what belief you're in. I don't care what your belief or religion is, research it before you say something. If anything, I don't care what you believe in. If you don't believe in anything, still research it. Don't just, oh, that must be true. I see a lot of stuff about monsters in the river. There's some stuff that I've seen, man, I don't know what the hell it is. Like, it looks like aquatic. It looks like a dinosaur. Like that one where there's people all over the place and you see a head and it looks like a giant aquatic animal. I believe that. There's too many videos. Come on, guys. Not everything is fake. UFOs especially. There's too much out there now. It's just, they're there. But I see a lot of people trying to make bullshit up to get TikTok views. And they'll get this scary voice on TikTok and, oh, this happened. And, you know, they opened this grave in Russia with that angel. It looks like a statue. To come to find out, that was an old frozen statue. That's people are saying it's a frozen angel and this and that. Were you there? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you right now, technology's so good you can make anything look real. So unless you're there, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's getting ridiculous. Now stuff like you see flying saucers. If they have experts for this now, and they're saying they're real. What then the military's saying they're real. Bigfoot. There's certain things that they've had experts see. They're real. Now, some of this other shit that you see, like the Megalodon, they're starting to see those things coming out now. There's just so many cameras you can see it. It's not hard. That's why there's so many people, oh, we're seeing all this stuff. No, it's always been here. It's just because you got a fucking camera now, you can see things. That's why people use it for everything. Cameras show everything. You can't hide anything anymore like you used to because there's too many fucking people who want to get famous. So they hurry up and throw it on fucking video. Or they'll make sure it looks like it. They'll add shit to it. And video. And now you could totally see somebody pretty much faking videos. Some people are really good at it, though. CGI. But it's just the truth. I see so much bullshit on TikTok and Instagram. And this is real. And Facebook. It used to be cool, man. I love this shit, man. Don't get me wrong. I listened to Art Bell for 20 years. I love him. I still listen to him. He passed away, but they still play his shows. And I listen to George Norrie on Coast to Coast. I've always been in this. I had a friend we used to talk about doing, this is so weird. I used to talk about doing this show with him. And he just didn't end up doing it. When me and James started doing the show, we did it together. But I've always wanted to do a show like this. But it's becoming trendy now. Ghost hunting, UFOs, dog man, that's kind of dying out now, but that was a big thing. The creepypasta bullshit, the back rooms, it was from creepypasta, now it's becoming, people are saying it's real, and they're showing videos of they're walking in the middle of fucking Arctic, and all of a sudden they walk in and fall down in this building, and you go down like this hole, and it's the start of the back rooms. And that's a show I want to do, but it was a creepypasta bullshit story, dude. There's people saying it's another dimension where you walk around. Either it's like this fluorescent, like yellow or green or just white with like nasty white walls and like nasty carpet, or it's really underwater. Half of the carpet's wet. And all of a sudden, these three-dimensional creatures come charging. I don't know if you guys ever seen VH1, they did a horror movie. Not VH1, VHS. It was like a part 2 or something. They show like this guy turns into like this weird creature, three-dimensional weird creature, like fast forwards, but he kills people, and that's what comes after you. Or you just disappear in these holes that just keep going on, and these buildings keep going on, and these weird creatures come after you. Or like you'll go into like supermarkets and they're totally empty, and they show them going after, but people magically are recording this, and they disappeared. It's come on, fuck, come on, guys, like start believing. Not all this shit is true, you know. Like, they'll have pictures like, like skinwalkers. I believe some of that. Some of it is bullshit. It's probably somebody dressed up or they're pretending to be something in the fucking woods. Now, some of these weird animals, it's kind of weird. But some of them, they're making it where it's black and white, where they have weird looking faces and stuff. They know how to do this shit, dude. And I'm going to tell you something. Like, don't believe 90% of this shit. 10, 15, maybe. Some of this shit's not real, but some of it is coming. Some of it is real. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. I was just getting through all the bullshit that I see so much on TikTok, especially people every fucking day. This creature, that creature, the world's like the disappearing trees or the trees that are moving. They show them like moving, going back and forth, these giant trees back and forth. Now, I don't know about that. That's a whole different thing. Or was the grounds moving? Is this a giant? Or because, they have that guy that disappeared and he shows like a big giant on a mountain, and then after that happens, shit happened to him and he ended up dying. And to all this video shit of him taking other videos of other stuff like the military there. And come on, guys, like that, I believe some of that, because just like the people who saw this stuff in Vegas, all of a sudden they're quiet now. No one hears anything from them anymore. What did you expect? You think they're going to admit most of this, dude? They're not going to admit shit. They're never going to tell you if these things are real. Just like people are showing videos of dinosaurs and shit. Most of it's bullshit. But some of it, like the mammoth, that was kind of cool. That could be true because they already probably made it and they just don't want to tell you guys because they're finding a way to fucking make money off of you soon. Just that Jurassic Park is coming. Dude, mammoths and woolly rhinos, that's going to happen. And saber-toothed tigers, that's going to happen. And probably one day dinosaurs. Maybe not at this time, but they are going to bring mammoths back. They're already doing it. And I think they've already done it. They just don't want to admit to it. Because too many people are going to bitch about it. Oh, but in the end, people are going to go spend money to go see it. It'll be the next attraction for a couple years. If something else is made, some mutated giant that fucking runs around and kills everybody like Godzilla or something. That's what's going to happen. We're just going to destroy ourselves like in Godzilla. Now they're saying there's a giant monster in Antarctica. That's another show we need to do. I just need to get on that. Giant monsters that live down in the ocean and this ravine. They've caught this giant octopus creature. There's all kinds of shit that I hear all the time. And people have like these scary voices. They change their voice to talk. And it's pretty funny, but it is what it is. Now, why are we seeing all this stuff? That's the other part I want to get into in a minute. I think something changed. And I'm going to tell you guys a story. I used to work in security, and I do it in a different way now. I'm armed, and I do it at another place. I don't want to tell people where I work, but it's a lot better than I used to. I used to work security when I was about 19. 20, I think I was, maybe 20. Or I was going to be 20, and it was year 2000. Going to be. It was 1999. Everybody thought Y2K was coming. But will tell you this. I used to smoke. I quit smoking 13 years ago. I used to smoke 3 packs a day, guys, and I haven't touched one in over 13 years now. God, I'm glad. But I was sitting in my car. It was in a van, actually. And I was probably halfway through my shift. I was working midnight shifts. And about 2 o'clock, it was about 1:32. It was right after New Year's. About 1:45, 2 o'clock in the morning. It got foggy, and I was in this place in the middle of the desert called Barstow. And it was actually, this area was pretty well lit. And there was a lot of people. It was an apartment plex. And I was sitting there smoking at the time. And I'm like, I saw this weird fog come in through the whole place. It just got dark. And I felt like this nothingness. And when I said this, nothing's going to be the same. After 2000, a lot of people are saying, were we messing with things in the 90s? That like the Mandela effect and with time travel and time that we messed up and knocked into a negative. Everything's been negative since 2000. Even in the 90s, nothing other than Columbine stuff, crazy stuff barely happened. Like it wasn't happening. Now, crazy shit happens all the time. People are killing each other, murders, weird creatures you're seeing, weird things happening, diseases. Everything went negative since 2000. And there's a theory coming out 1999, and right when it turned 2000, that something happened. What's my opinions on this? I've been hearing a little bit about this. And this goes with everything. Did we fuck up? Did we mess with something? And change the outcome of this world? I don't know. It's just a theory I have. I've been watching a lot of shit about this, and if you think about it, it's just getting negative, and we're manifesting things, guys. Are we manifesting? Is this like the Matrix? Not like, but we're doing remote viewing where we can all think of something happens. Because I'm going to tell you something, 80% of the stuff I see, it happens. Even more, it's like 85. Or I'll say something, it happens. It's impossible to be right all the time. And I'm not, and that's not what I'm saying, but it happens. I was never before able to do this. I'm totally a different person than I was from 2000. It's 23 years ago and a half, but it's just weird. It's like something happened and things have changed, and a lot of people don't know what, and that's why I was talking about. So what happened? Did something happen in 1999 and it changed everything? I'm going to tell you, that feeling I got when I was sitting in the car, I knew things were never going to be the same, and it never was. Something told me this, and I was right. And it hasn't been. There's this crazy shit happening. And people are going to say, it's biblical, it's in the Bible. You know what? If you believe that, that's fine. I've been hearing this for 40-something years, and I've been hearing this for hundreds of, reading it, that people have been saying this for 100 years, you know, hundreds of years, so 1,000 years. And you know what? That's fine. You believe that, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with anybody. You know, believe what you want. But all these weird creatures, all these sightings, people wanting to be famous, making up things so much. It's crazy. It's like everybody wants to be famous. Everybody thinks they're some expert because they see something on fucking YouTube or TikTok, or it could be fucking outrageously full of shit. Even with everything, news, everything, people are so misinformed. And people are going to say, I'm misinformed, I'm crazy, I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm lost, I'm a sheep, or I need to go find God. You know what? I don't care what your opinion is. Never will. I will not care. Prove me wrong. Go look it up. You can send me some Bible verse. That's fine. I'll just, okay, cool. I'm not talking about that. I'm not bringing anybody's religion down. I'm saying with everything that's going on, I think something happened in the early 90s. Not the early, sorry, the end of the 90s, 2000. Actually, technically 2000. Hour and a half after it turned 2000, maybe a little more. I think before that they did something. I think that they were messing with stuff, and this is true, you know, with the stuff that they mess around with time, and maybe right then they were doing something, and we're into another. We're us, but we're not. We're another form in another world. Not, it's our world, but dimension. We'll not say world, dimension, guys. And it's just a theory I have because all this shit's going on. And that's why I brought both. Why are you talking two different things? I was bringing up how much bullshit I'm seeing, but we're seeing a lot of stuff. It isn't all bullshit. I just said that also on top of that. And we're seeing a lot of weird creatures and this fascination with monsters and beings and aliens and ghosts. Why? All of a sudden. Years ago, me and James would have done this show back in the 90s, 2000. There wasn't a lot of people then doing all these shows and podcasts and talking about this stuff. Now there's millions. People thought people were crazy when they thought this. Now it's like, okay, most people believe it now. And we manifested it. Did we manifest this whole thing? Did we make these creatures? I'm not saying like Bigfoot. I think they've always been around and stuff. I'm talking about like all this other stuff that's coming. Like history repeats itself, and it does. But also it seems like things happen, but in a different way. Like say somebody goes and we have serial killers that went off of movies though. And people go and copy it. But it's not the same like Michael Myers, but it's somebody who kind of did the same thing. But doesn't come back to life all the time, constantly. Or is it like that movie, God, God, where the guy jumps back and forth through bodies. Like he dies. I forget the name. I think it has Denzel Washington in it. And I forget the name, but God, I love that movie. But the guy was like killed. He was a murderer, and like he sang that time. You know that part. You know, I don't want to sing. I'm really horrible, but that song, and like he was able to come back and get into other people's bodies and try to kill this guy. Is this what we're dealing with? Are we dealing with something like this that can jump bodies? Kind of like, you guys watch Michael Myers, like one of the movies where he could change bodies. Like he can go, like Halloween H2O, he jumped into another body and started killing people and took over their body. Is this what's really going on? Is something jumping bodies? Or is it just, that's, you know, something bad that can do this? And it's related off of movies and stuff like that. And we manifested it. Just like, did we manifest all these monsters or creatures? Or is it just my 90% bullshit? I don't know, man. It just was a show I wanted to do for a while, and I was thinking about it. And if you think about it, why are all of a sudden we've seen all this shit? Why? It's been years. Like the last couple years, it's getting worse. Like we're seeing giant sharks and monsters. Have we just really been under a rock since video cameras came out? Now we're just seeing everything. And now we don't know how to deal with it. Maybe this is, you know, like you ever seen like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that? Maybe this stuff was real then. Dragons and all this stuff, and they're hiding. They have magical powers or something. I'm just giving a theory, guys. I don't know if I 100% believe this. But you see what I'm saying? Like, they're coming. And maybe we manifested it. We made it real. And that's what I was talking about, the killers. We made them real. Not that they're really running around like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers, but people, something like it. Carbon copy of itself. Are we really manifesting all this shit? Is this stuff is just, we've been living in this kind of world, we never really realized it? That they've been lying to us for this long and we're finally seeing it? They didn't want video cameras to come out on phones, guys. Just so you people know that. They were trying to stop that for years. And it happened. And they regret it. Like cameras everywhere. And we're seeing all this crazy shit. We're catching stuff. Creatures. Stuff we never... How do we know these... People gotta realize we haven't seen everything. Just because we don't see it all the time, there's stuff that shows up all the time. The silly fan, people thought that was extinct and it's coming. They found it. Maybe this stuff wasn't extinct. Maybe we just don't know. The ocean, we only know 10% of the ocean. There's 90% of it we don't. The rainforest, there's like 30% we don't know. Some of these places we don't know. Antarctica is like 70% we don't know, 75%. We don't know what these creatures really were, what the hell's out there. We're finding out. And I'm just throwing all these theories together because I was thinking it's not that I'm saying it's real. I'm just saying this is my opinion and theories I have. Did we manifest this shit? Because I see it all the time. That's why I wanted to do the show. It was talking about all this stuff that's going on. Is it going to be worse? Are we going to see more and more, and eventually something's going to come out of that ocean, and I'm worried one day that is? Or something's going to come from space? Or what do you think space is? Or another dimension that will just destroy us? Or we're going to destroy ourselves? Or zombies going to come? Because there's stuff about that all the time. China has zombies, and that's bullshit too. I already said that's just bullshit, dude. But there is a disease that can be like The Last of Us. Or 28 days later where it can turn you rabbit. And rabbit. I'm probably saying it wrong. Sorry, guys. You know how I am. But just think about it, guys. What's your opinions? Leave it in the comments. I know James is going to have a field day. This is something he likes. It's just I'm sick of seeing it. I'm not sick of seeing it. I just see so much shit. It's got to be addressed. What do you guys think? Tell me. Don't argue. Don't call people names. I'm not calling anybody names. You believe in biblical, you believe in religion, that's fine. That's your opinion. Cool. You believe it's something else. You believe it's all bullshit. That's fine. Just leave your opinion. Don't argue, guys. Don't come try to call us out, because I'm going to get you on the show and we're going to see if you can call me out. I'm going to tell you most people can't. Especially James. James is one of the smartest people in the world. He went to school. He's very smart, very educated. He knows what he's going to do. And I'm going to tell you from right now, he's probably going to have something to fire back, and so will I. But I'm not saying anybody's better or anything. I'm just going to tell you, we get this crap all the time, and then they'll run and hide and block us, or they'll talk shit or say something, but they won't say it to our face, trust me. Or they do, they look stupid, or they'll try to act like that. We're not smarter experts or anything. We're just very educated in all this shit. James is just more than I am, you know. But that being said, James, I hope you guys like it. I hope, James, you have a good opinion about this, and see what you think about it, guys. And have a good night, guys.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. I think we can basically narrow this down to two major themes. One, we're talking about TikTok people, especially like TikTok Paranormal. That's kind of the first half of this. And then the second half of this was a theory that he had about why we're seeing so many different things now. Is it something that we did wrong? Did we mess up somehow? Did somebody experiment with something they shouldn't have been experimenting with? Should be pretty easy to cover both. Let's start with the TikTok stuff. The TikTok Paranormal. What you have here is the same thing you kind of have on YouTube with a lot of the YouTube paranormal community, where you have people that aren't actually involved in the paranormal, that are just kind of watching clips and reacting to them. They're nothing more than reaction videos, in all reality. They disguise themselves as paranormal videos, but in all reality, they're just reaction videos. They're no different than a person who sits in their living room and plays someone else's music and reacts to it. They're kind of the lowest tier of creative video, because there's really no creation to it. You know, you're not creating anything. You're just kind of watching someone else's stuff and reacting to it. That's basically what you got going on a lot of these TikTok videos, where they're kind of playing somebody else's stuff and they're going, "Oh, can you believe that?" The other aspect of the TikTok Paranormal is these people that are putting up quote-unquote evidence, but it's kind of BS. And you can always tell you're going to see some BS evidence when you hear that voice, like Old Boy said. There's this computer-generated AI voice that every one of these people use. They'll play this creepy music in the background, usually way too loud, so that you can't even hear what they're trying to say. So you get this loud-ass music playing that's supposed to be all creepy. And then you have this AI voice, which essentially they've just typed in what they want that thing to say. And then it says it in some creepy sound, right? Some creepy voice that is supposed to give you the chills. And then they're going to play some kind of outlandish, ridiculous video that is not real, and usually is either taken from a movie or it is something that somebody created on their computer. That's probably 99.99% of the TikTok paranormal videos. And they're just garbage. They're just taking up space. They're only doing it to try to get views and to make a little bit of money. For some reason, people think that you're going to make a fortune on TikTok and you're going to make a fortune on YouTube, and that's really just not the case. You do have those people that make it very, very big, those rare exceptions to the rule, where they're getting, 10 million, 15 million views a video. Those people are making some money doing this. But for the overwhelming majority of people, I mean, you don't make much at all. You make pennies. It takes like 1,000 people to watch your videos and to click through on the ads, and actually let the ads play out and not skip them for you to make $1. So think about that. Think about all the YouTube videos that you watch. And think about every time them stupid ads pop up that drive you crazy. And you just hit skip. Well, when you hit skip, the YouTuber doesn't make any money off of that ad at all. So essentially your view, while it is a view and that's awesome, doesn't benefit the creator whatsoever. He makes no money off of it because you didn't watch that complete ad. The other thing that sucks is, as a creator, and I can tell you this because I have this channel, you don't have a whole lot of control over your ads. I mean, you can either allow ads or not allow ads. If you allow ads, you might be able to make a little bit of money to help fund your show or your videos, whatever you're doing, help you out. But if you do long content like we do, like this show is an hour every week. On an hour show, if I hit allow ads, then you might get 10 ads in the show or something. And I have really no control over that. You used to be able to choose whether you wanted them just in the beginning and the end, or if you wanted them beginning, end, and middle. Before that, you could actually place the ads where you wanted them, which was kind of cool. But they're taking more and more of that control away. The last couple videos that I've put up, when I choose to monetize those videos, literally it's just, do you want to run ads or not run ads? I mean, there's no option for where to put them. There's no option of whether you want them to be skippable or non-skippable. There's no option of whether you want them to run in the middle or just the end. I mean, it's kind of crazy. So most people are going to click off the stuff. They're not going to sit there and watch the whole ad. So most views you get, you don't make any money. On the ones that do actually let the ads play so that you can make some money off of them, you're getting fractions of a penny each time that happens. I mean, like I said, literally you need 1,000 people to let the ad play in order for you to make $1. That's kind of nuts. So you're not going to get rich doing this. Most people aren't going to make any money at all doing this. But that's what these people think. So that's what they're doing. They're trying to go through there to get views and to get likes and to grow their channel, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok. In this case, we're talking about TikTok. That's a lot of these people. You have a very small amount that's actually legitimate, that's putting up their own evidence that they got on an investigation just for people to watch. Those channels don't really do very well. I have a TikTok as well where I put up some of our stuff, and I don't know, I've got like 11,000, 12,000 followers, something like that on there. It's good. It's decent. I mean, it's not terrible. But at the same time, I don't really do anything on TikTok. I just put up the videos every once in a while, and I haven't for a long, long time. Because TikTok just tears up your phone, man. It's horrible. Because it has all this spyware on it and stuff that you have to constantly dump the cache, and it's a whole thing. I'm not going to get all into it, but it's a pain in the butt to deal with. So I don't do it very often. But most channels aren't gonna do that well. These people, they're trying to get their numbers up, and some of them do. Some of them do well doing it. I don't understand why people want to watch that kind of stuff when you're almost guaranteed that it's BS. But to each their own. So that's that portion of it. You also have some of my favorites, and forgive me, please, for laughing during this part, but one of my pleasures in life is watching some of these theories that are just nonsense and seeing how seriously people take them and how literally pissed off they will get if you question what they believe. One of these theories that is fairly prevalent on TikTok and on YouTube, and even now starting to be on Facebook and stuff, they have pages and groups about it, is flat Earth. Now, this is one of those guys that I just don't understand how you can believe that the Earth is flat. I mean, I did a whole episode of Staring, almost a whole hour, scientifically proving over and over and over again that the Earth is not flat. It's the dumbest damn thing I've ever seen. That's something that's been settled science for hundreds of years, guys. We all know the Earth isn't flat. We've seen it, man. There's pictures. There's video. You know what I mean? We've been to space. We know what the hell the Earth looks like. But for some reason, people, they just can't stop. They just can't stop believing, as Journey said. And it's absolutely nuts. I could sit here and I could go through all of these reasons again. I could give you every little bit of physics, every bit of science to prove to you that the earth is indeed round. Okay, now it's not a complete perfect circle. It's kind of a squished round. But it's round. It's not flat. But that's not going to do these people any good. One, because in order to believe that our earth is flat, let's just say you're probably not finishing in the top of your class. You're not that sharp. So me giving you a bunch of science to prove that you're wrong is not going to help, because you're not going to understand it anyway, probably. So let me try to explain this for those of you who are in the flat earth camp, just so you can hopefully see that you're wrong and stop blabbering about that, because it's nonsense and it makes you look very stupid. If you are married, okay, or you've got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and they are going to take a cruise, so they get on the ship. You, for whatever reason, you can't go. Maybe you got to work or something like that. So they get on the boat and they leave the ship. You don't want to piss off boat people. You know, if you call a boat a ship or a ship a boat, some of those people get kind of cranky. But they get on the cruise ship and they go. Now you're watching it sail off to sea. You're waving goodbye, you know, doing that thing. As it gets further away, it gets smaller, obviously. But another weird thing starts to happen. The boat actually starts to sink down as far as you can see. So eventually, it looks like it just kind of sinks under the water as it goes towards the horizon and gets farther and farther away. Now, why is that? That's not because you just can't see it anymore. It's because of the curvature of the earth. When you start to go away, it gets lower as it goes, because you're looking out across a long, long distance, and that's the curvature of the earth that you're seeing in action. That's proof of it. If the earth was flat, that wouldn't happen. It would just keep going straight. It would be level the whole way until you couldn't see it anymore. It would just get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you just couldn't see it anymore. But it would never go down. Okay? That right there is easy, easy proof that everybody can understand. It's not complicated. You know, yes, I did say curvature of the earth, and that's sciencey. I get it, but it's not hard to understand, man. It's not complex. So everybody should be able to look at that and say, oh, I get that. Okay. Yeah, flat earth is garbage. Now, like I said, there's dozens and dozens of other examples I could give and reasons that I could give that are way more complex and have to do with math. And if you want that, go check out the video I already did. Okay, it's called Flat Earth Theory, Fact or Fiction. It's on the channel. It's an episode of Staring Into the Abyss. You can find it in the Staring Into the Abyss playlist on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/James Hershey Jr. Shameless plug. Numero uno. It's all there, okay? The whole show. You can listen to it. You can hear every bit of science that I give you, and you can see, oh, the earth is not flat. But that is by far my favorite thing to listen to and to watch on TikTok and YouTube, because it's just crazy to me to see this. Now, there's a lot of dumb conspiracy theories out there, you know, some of them with proof, some of them without proof, but this is by far the dumbest. And in order to believe this, you've got to be a couple points short of a helmet. Let's put it that way. It is not something that any thinking person should even be entertaining the idea of. But you have that as well. That's another example of the TikTok paranormal and the YouTube paranormal communities that you have that stuff on, and it's silly. Do I think that there's anything worthwhile on TikTok or YouTube? Well, there is. I mean, like I said before, you have some channels that are people that are actually showing their actual evidence, and people that know what they're doing, and they have valid, good evidence to show. So as far as that goes, I mean, some of those things are pretty cool. and it's nice to be able to get on and see what somebody's doing. Somebody that doesn't have the advantage of having a radio show like we do, or having a TV show, So there's no other way you're going to see their stuff unless you watch it on YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or something like that. That's kind of where they put up their stuff so that you can get to see it. And it's really cool to see what some people are getting. It's also kind of sad to see the way some of these people are investigating, because with a lot of people, they don't really have the experience. Okay, they don't really know what they're doing. They're people that have just kind of watched Ghost Adventures or watched one of these other shows, and they're just trying to copy what they saw there. So they don't really have any experience actually investigating, so they don't know that some of the things they're doing are silly. They think this is how it's done. And the other danger of following TV shows is they provoke a lot, and if you don't properly protect yourself and you're out there provoking, you're going to end up with attachments, and you're going to end up in big, big trouble. Okay? So you got to watch that. And they also expect it's going to be nonstop action, because that's what you see on TV, when that's not what it is at all. What you don't understand is on the legitimate shows, when you're watching them, like let's take Tales from the Abyss, for example, that's ours. When you're watching our show, you are seeing like a half hour or an hour, depending on the format. Boom, 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 boom. Evidence, 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 right? You're seeing response, response, response. You're seeing knocks. You're seeing things move. You're seeing all this, but you're seeing it fast. One after the other. That's not how it happened when it happened. We might be there for 10 hours. We might be there for 3 days doing the investigation. And what you're seeing is a bunch of different sessions. And you're seeing us ask a question and get a response. That part's real. Okay? It's not like we're asked a question and then we cut and then we just match it up with a response later. That's not how it works. We ask the question, we get a response. Okay? But what you're not seeing on that episode is all the times we asked and we didn't get a response. Or all the times that we asked it to knock and it didn't knock. All you're seeing is the successful attempts. That way you're not bored. You know what I mean? So you have this idea going in that it's going to be some kind of insane thing that you're going to go witness or go do. And in reality, it's boring most of the time. There's long stretches of time when nothing happens. There's long stretches of time where you're moving around, setting up here, setting up there, trying to find a spot where they're active and where they'll talk to you. That's the reality of it. And that's almost never shown on TV at all. We've shown it on our channel a little bit, but not much, because people just don't want to sit there and watch nothing happening. They want action. They want to see the responses. They just want the good parts. And I understand that. I wouldn't want to sit there and watch an hour of nothing either. That would be boring as hell. So I think that there is some good to it. Now, I want to quickly, because I'm already like half my time here, I want to quickly respond to Old Boy's theory and what he was saying. I think basically what his point was that around Y2K time, we messed with something. We being like scientists, not like the normal person. But they did something that destroyed our universe, caused us to slip into an alternate universe, or in some way altered time, altered reality, opened up a portal to let something in, those kind of things. That's kind of the gist of what his theory was, what he was saying. Do I think that holds any merit? Do I think that it's possible? Well, let me say it this way, okay? There has been an increase in like the last 5 to 10 years of paranormal activity. Now, you could say, well, it's just because people have cell phones, are capturing it more, that kind of thing, and that the paranormal field has gotten popular, so more people are uploading their stuff because it's no longer taboo to do so. You have a point. I mean, that's valid. That's 100% valid. But I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm agreeing 100% with that. That's true. But in our own experience, on the cases we work, we are seeing a a lot more demonic cases than we had ever seen before. And we are seeing a lot more severe demonic cases than we ever have before. So what would be the reason for that? Why? Why are we seeing so much more demonic stuff? Why is it so much more severe than it was before? That's the question that you have to figure out. Is it because there's been a portal that's been opened? Is it because we are getting close to the end of this whole show? Both of those things are possibilities. I mean, we know the Bible talks about the end times. The Bible talks about the things that are going to happen at the end times. We also know, if you've studied your Bible, that pretty much everything that needs to happen before the rapture has happened. Before the tribulation period has happened. Okay, we're just sitting around waiting now for it to happen. We're waiting for the rapture to come and take the believers away, for the Antichrist to rise up, and for the tribulation period to begin. We are there. We're fairly close. Now, I want to say, having said that, just because I say we're close, just because I say that everything that needed to be done has been done in order for that to happen, does not mean it's going to happen tomorrow. You got to understand, time for us is different than time for God. You know, the Bible says for God, 1,000 years is like a day. And a day is like 1,000 years. Okay, so time is different for God. He kind of has access to past, present, and every future all at once. You know, it's kind of, instead of time being a river that only flows one way, for God, it is more like a swimming pool where he's just kind of in all of it at once, and he can just kind of swim around wherever the hell he wants. So for him, time is different. It's not such a rush, because any time he does it is going to be the same to him. So saying that everything has happened already that needs to, saying that we are close because we're seeing more activity, all of that is true. But that does not mean that close for us is going to be close for him. You know, the Bible says no man knows the day. That we'll never know when the rapture happens. It says that it'll come as a thief in the night. And that we always need to be looking up and be paying attention and be ready for the rapture to happen. And I'm ready. I'm looking forward to it, actually, because this world might be beyond help at this point. I mean, it's evil is being celebrated as good. Good is being called evil. And it is upside down, and it is crazy. You know, there's very few good people left. I mean, most people have been corrupted. Most people are selfish. They're only looking out for themselves, and they're just delight in hurting other people. And it's terrible to see. It really is. So I welcome it. I welcome the rapture. I welcome being up there with Jesus, man. I'm looking forward to it. So everything has happened that needs to happen. We're just waiting now. So it could be that. That could be the reason in the increase in activity. As far as his theory of have they opened a portal, have they destroyed the universe, it's possible. I mean, remember the Hadron Collider. Remember that they are trying to create the God particle so that they can study it and determine exactly how our universe began. They're doing this by taking an electron and shooting it around a super collider, which is just basically, in layman's terms, so everybody can understand, basically it's a big racetrack. Okay, think about NASCAR, think about horse racing, those kind of things. Think about track and field. It's just a big round track, like a big oval, that people run around. Okay, in this case, it's a big track that they fire an electron into, and it goes around the track, and it goes faster and faster and faster and faster. Then they shoot another one and they collide them. Okay. That collision has so much force, it is supposed to theoretically create the God particle. Another danger in doing that is that you create black holes, tiny little black holes. People think, well, don't worry about it. It's just a tiny black hole and it collapses on itself almost immediately, so it's not a big deal. Maybe. There is always the chance, and this is what they were worried about before they did it. There's always a chance that it doesn't collapse on itself. And instead, it just begins consuming everything, sucking mass and matter into it and getting larger until we're all gone. First, it'll take the area it's in, then it'll take the surrounding area, then the city, then the country, then the planet, and then eventually the solar system, the galaxy, etc., till it becomes so dense that it implodes on itself and kind of gets to be a little ball that is very, very dense with matter and mass, but it's very small. A lot of people think that's what the Big Bang was that you had all of the matter in the universe condensed down to a single ball. So it's an incredibly dense ball. The pressure becomes too much, it explodes and expands outward. As it expands, it slows down, and then it starts to come back together again. Gravity brings it back to itself. It ends up condensing into a big mass, and then over time, it implodes upon itself again. So what you have is expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction. That's kind of the cycle, the life's breath of the universe. That's the theory. Whether that's true or not, who knows? A lot of these things are hard to prove. You can do equations that will tell you that could be true, but they are reliant upon multiple variables being true. So if any one of those variables is false, then your solution you come up with is not valid. And we just have no way to actually prove a lot of those hypotheses. The Bible says that God spoke everything into existence, which is kind of a cool, romantic, poetic way to deal with the problem, but we don't exactly know what form that took. If you look at the human body, it's absolutely fascinating the way it works. It's so complex, but everything works together so perfectly. It's just absolutely amazing, the things that the human body can do. It's designed to completely heal itself, which is amazing. Every cell in your body recreates itself every so many days. It's brilliant. And as long as you give it the raw materials it needs, you can heal yourself from anything, almost, within reason. Somebody cut your arm off, it's not growing back. You're not a damn chameleon. But within reason, you can heal yourself of any kind of sickness and stuff. And a lot of these sicknesses come because we have nutritional deficiencies. We are not getting the raw materials that we need. A part of that is because our food is garbage. Our food is just absolutely terrible. And it doesn't contain the raw materials we need. It contains a bunch of chemicals. It's not even really food. It's like food-like products. It's gotten to the point where they've screwed it up so bad it's not very nourishing for us anymore. A great example of that is all of your grains and some of your vegetables and stuff. They spray those with folic acid. Now, the thinking behind spraying it with folic acid was that your body can take folic acid and turn that into folate. Okay, that's a raw material, folate, that the body can then process further into methylfolate, which is the actual component it needs in order to regulate and to help multiple systems in your body. The problem is, like 44% of the population can't make that initial conversion. So when they eat the product that has the folic acid, their body is not capable of turning the folic acid into folate. So then if they can't turn the folic acid into folate, then there's no way it can turn folate into methylfolate that your body can actually use. It can't do it because it doesn't have the folate. It only has the folic acid. It's not able to make that first conversion. That's because of a genetic deficiency. It's a problem in the genome that they're just not capable of doing that. There's multiple different things like that genetically people are not able to process it. But I think, I might be wrong, I'm not an expert in this, but I think that is probably the most common, though, is folic acid to folate. They call it the motherfucker gene. Okay, it's like MTTR or something like that. MTTFR. I don't remember the exact acronym, but they call it that. Okay, and it's the inability to process folic acid into folate is essentially what it is. I think that's probably the cause of a lot of people's allergies to gluten, their gluten intolerance. It's not actually the gluten that bothers them, it's the folic acid that's bothering them, I think. But that's a great example of where they've kind of screwed with our food, so we're not getting the raw materials we need in order for our body to properly heal itself. So yes, we've screwed up a lot of stuff. Did they create a black hole that destroyed our universe and we slipped into another universe in the multiverse? Is that why things are all screwed up? Is it that they opened a portal and let some demonic stuff out that they shouldn't have? That's also possible, because a lot of the people that run everything, the elites, they are all into demon worship. And that's not a good thing. I'm not going to get too deep into that, because last time I did, we got shadow banned and it almost destroyed the channel, man. They almost shut us down. So I'm not going to get deep into that, but those are possibilities. Okay. I think more likely it's just that people are dumb. Unfortunately, that's the case. They've dumbed us down. They took over the education system. They ruined it. People now can't even read and write, some of them, by the time they get to junior high school. That's ridiculous. You got people graduating that don't know anything. They can't even pass a citizenship test. That's nuts. So when you dumb down everybody and you teach them nonsense, but you don't teach them what they need to know, the actual fundamentals of education, you're going to end up with an uninformed public that's not going to be able to critically think. And I think that's where we are. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm going to throw it back over to Old Boy so that he can give his final sum up and shout out, and then I will be back to wrap up. Old Boy, go ahead, brother.
Man, this was a little bit different. I just had to talk about certain things that's been going on in the world. So follow us on Staring into the Abyss on Parax Radio every Sunday nights at 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific, and the best of Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific p.m. You guys want to follow us on YouTube? Go ahead. Subscribe to James Hirsch's YouTube page. Follow us on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, all kinds of different things we're on now. You guys want merchandise? Get hats, shirts, all kinds of cool stuff. They'll tell you where to go. Beanies for your head for when it's cold. Just let us know if you want something done special. We'll make it for you. So have a good night. Misfits, Trick Ladies, Monster Lovers, Demon Hunters. I love you and have a good night. Blessed be.
Thank you, brother. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was fun. I could have went on for another couple hours, honestly, because I was just starting to get into some good stuff and some fun stuff. But time seems to fly sometimes. And I'm sure you guys don't want to sit around and watch a 2 or 3 hour show. If you do, let me know down in the comments, man. Who knows? I won't be able to play that in the radio, but I could do like a 2 or 3 parter on the radio, maybe something like that. But anyway, thank you guys. I love you. I appreciate you. And as always, it's up to you to make up your own mind. Let us know what you think down in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next one. Till we speak to you again. Love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.